You gotta. Because they were out there foisting this stuff constantly. They were pressing this mantra, this meme that, these cops were bad cops and they did this and they did, without knowing all the facts. That there was, at first there was stuff out there talking about, well, this guy was a dangerous armed criminal. Really? We still don't really know why the individual, Freddie Gray, was arrested. Now, I'm hearing a lot of stuff that's coming out about this, and one of the things is that they're saying his arrest was illegal. It was an improper arrest, it was false imprisonment, that kind of thing. Not going to deny that happens sometimes. You get cops that are a little overzealous about something, and they arrest somebody for no reason. It happens every day, actually. It does. But does that mean that the cop is guilty of murder if the person dies in their custody? No, it does not. So this whole notion that if you are falsely arrested, there is a remedy for that. There is. And the cops can be punished for falsely imprisoning or falsely arresting someone. They just can't go around arresting people, at least not yet. They have to have a legit reason to do so. And I was hearing all today that there was no legit reason. Just because the guy had a rap sheet and just because, he was known to deal and do or take drugs, was no reason to arrest him. Even if he ran away, look, there are a lot of people run from the cops when they see him. They may have been, totally obeying the law. And they have no arrest warrant whatsoever on them. They may be totally obeying the law. They see a cop approaches them, and they take off. Well, cops don't like it when you run from them. But just because you run from a cop does not now mean that you've committed a crime, because you didn't. There's no law against saying that against running from a police officer when you have not committed a crime, and when there's no need for you to be arrested. You can run all day long if you want. There's no crime against that. So we're hearing this part. Now I'm thinking, well, we didn't hear this before because we didn't know why he was arrested. And now we're hearing, well, it was a false arrest. There was no need for him to be arrested. Well, I'm thinking if there was really no need for him to be arrested, then why did they arrest him? And why was he thrown into a patio? What were they going to charge him? Now, let's face it. You don't have 6 officers participating in your arrest and putting you into a paddy wagon unless they're going to charge you with something. We don't know. At least I don't know, because I haven't heard it yet. The media hasn't told us. I don't know. I don't know if the prosecution knows. And I am pretty sure that these cops are now going to clam up for now and use that issue in their defense. So again, this is another reason why you do not come so soon with charges, because you don't know, you don't have all the information. It is possible that, they could have questioned these cops and other information could have came to light that totally clears them. And we wouldn't have to go through this. Now these 6 men, their lives are ruined. They're ruined. Even if they did falsely arrest him, it does not mean they are guilty of any of the crimes they're being charged with. Let me make that abundantly clear. Even if these officers were involved in a wrong or false arrest, it does not make them guilty of anything else. Plain and simple. Let's think about this logically, folks. So, first of all, we don't know if this was a false arrest. I know we got a bunch of liberal idiots running around telling the press, yeah, it was a false arrest. Really? Well, we've heard you people talk about certain things that happen in certain cases, only later to find out, well, no, you were wrong. You were way off. You were big time wrong. And we don't get any apologies. But what we do have today is a bunch of people running around saying, well, that even Geraldo Rivera was kind of saying, well, this is necessary. No, it's not necessary. And he was saying, well, it's only going to inconvenience them a little bit. Inconvenience them a little bit? How about their careers as police officers are now over? Even if they are unequivocally acquitted of all charges, or even if none of these charges actually go to trial, but they all get dropped, these gentlemen will no longer be able to be police officers. They will not be effective in their job. They will be targets on the street, let me tell you. Their careers are over. And is that what we really want to do to innocent people? Do you want to ruin their lives? Look, we've got certain people who were acquitted of stuff before in different cases, but both cops and private citizens. George Zimmerman, anybody? Every time the guy gets pulled over for a freaking speeding ticket, or even if he doesn't, signal when changing a lane and he gets pulled over for that, the mainstream media is on top of it. George Zimmerman got pulled over for a ticket today because he failed to signal when he turned. The guy's life is over. The Ferguson police officer, he can't be a cop anywhere now. His career is over. These 6 officers here, their careers are over. This is not what America is all about. No, if there is some malfeasance going on, if there's something that's wrong that is committed by a police officer, yes, indeed, it should come out and the officer needs to be punished accordingly. But you do not punish them before all the facts are in, and before an inquiry is done, and before he goes before a court. You don't do that. You do not ruin lives. Because you feel, see, the problem is people feeling instead of thinking out there. All those not a single one of those rioters out there was thinking. They were feeling, and they were feeling something that was fed to them that was false. So you're telling me because you feel like you are being dissed or discriminated against by the law, that you feel you have the right to go out and destroy other people's private property that have nothing to do with this case whatsoever. First of all, you don't have the right to destroy even the people's property who are involved in the case. But you definitely do not have a right to destroy people's property that have nothing to do with the case. But you feel you have to because you feel that this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Oh yeah, this is it, man. This is it. I know people are using that as a pun because evidently he died from spinal injuries. But you got to look. We had heard before that this Freddie Gray had spinal surgery a week before his arrest. But now I guess there was some mix-up because I guess that wasn't the case. I guess he had spinal surgery after he was injured and arrested. Look, all those kind of details are still fuzzy. So if we can't even get those details correct, then how is it that this prosecutor knows that she can meet the very high standard of matching the crimes with those charges? She can't. And she knows it. That's why she's out there giving speech. Look, when you give a speech about why somebody's being arrested, you don't go ahead and say, we hear you. This is our time. Your time for what? Yeah, what time is that? Are you now condoning rioting and lawlessness? At the same time, you say you want justice for Mr. Gray? And if these cops are guilty of anything, you want them brought to justice? How do you do that and then with a straight face say that you hear all the rioters and that you understand the rioters and that you're a part of them by saying this is our time to make change, and they're making change by rioting? Can somebody explain to me that part? You can't do it. I mean, This whole issue, this whole situation is a freaking nightmare. Plain top to bottom, plain and simple. And it is a nightmare because that is what our lamestream media has done. And I'm going to include all of them. including Fox News, because they were on the ground trying to get reports of stuff that they had no clue about. You know when you bring a story to air, or when you print it in your newspaper, when you have some information and facts that are irrefutable, that's when you talk about it. You don't speculate. It is not the news job to speculate. But they were speculating throughout this entire thing. All of them. And I know there are people out there that are saying, well, yeah, you just like Fox News, Rod. No, I'm blaming Fox News as well. Yes, I'm putting Hannity on the hot spot because he's also out there talking about, well, this has got to be the way it is. No, it's not, because, Sean, you don't have all the facts. So you cannot be making a determination. I cannot make a determination because I don't have all the facts. Plain and simple. This is why I don't like talking about this, because nobody has all the facts. And all we can possibly talk about is speculation. All right, let's jump back to Zimmerman. Remember when that poor guy, he's a white guy. Well, Zimmerman isn't white. And we were told other erroneous facts. He was hunted down. He wasn't hunted down. And the news even tried to make up some things that tried to make him look like he was a racist. And he didn't even say. They chopped his 911 call up to make him sound like a racist. This is exactly the same thing that the news is doing right now. And the American people haven't seemed to have learned from the Zimmerman case, all over to the Ferguson case, to a bunch of other cases. It doesn't seem like we should have learned our lesson way back when, during something called the Rodney King case. Remember that. Look, we had evidentiary video of cops apparently beating this guy. And then we come to find out, it didn't tell the whole story. But again, many of the cops involved or caught in that snare, their careers are over. And two of them they were found guilty of violating Mr. King's civil rights. Okay. They were tried in a court of law in front of their peers, and the evidence to the jury said that they were guilty. Plain and simple. This is what you do. There is a process. And you cannot affect process by rioting. Because if you do, then it is not justice. It is nothing more than vigilantism. And frankly, vigilantism only belongs in the comic books. It does not belong in real life. This is why we don't have real life Daredevils and Batman. Because, look, they can't go around breaking things and get away with it. Frankly, if you watch the Batman movies, Batman probably committed more crimes than the criminals he was chasing. If you want to be logical and frank about it, it's the truth. You just can't go around breaking things, blowing things up, setting things on fire, and then expect justice, because you just broke the law yourself. And you cannot get justice, which means upholding the law, by breaking the law. Even if it's a law that we don't like. We have mechanisms to change those laws that we don't like. If you think cops are too rough and how they capture or take people into custody, then you change the law on how they can do it. I don't see anybody running around trying to change that. But they will want to run around and say, well, we want these cops' heads on a silver platter. Why? What if they are innocent? What if the evidence comes down that they're unequivocally, they are innocent of all these charges? What if? I'm just asking, what if? What if not a single one of them is guilty of anything illegal or improper or immoral? What if? Are you still going to riot because they were found not guilty? Yeah, that's not justice, folks. Not by a long shot.